humor me with something here, and bear with me for a second, because I am wondering why can't we have the $25,000 Tesla now?
I think you could probably do that in about, and remember, I've been right a lot. I've been right
That's
a
why we
lot.
have you here.
Okay, yeah.
That's why
Okay,
we
so
have you here.
to do something for 25 grand, I think,
All right, so let me talk about something that I was excited to hear from Elon, but also a little confused and maybe also disappointed. Something that I thought Tesla was going to come up with much sooner than this, but we're talking about a $25,000 hatchback Tesla. And Elon said that they're starting to work on it, and it's going to take about 3 years because they need to get to mass production with this battery technology. First let's talk about how fast this new battery technology can actually hit mass production, because obviously they are saying that the plaid mode Model S will have these batteries, obviously because of the range. And So, how fast do you think that they can finish the technology when it's ready to be actually mass produced? And then, how difficult or easy it is to scale it to hundreds of thousands of cars being produced with that technology in a year?
okay, so as far as the plaid is concerned, there's very few people that reach in their pocket and pull out a 200 grand and say, "I'd like one of those. Could I have a blue one?" So that's gonna be a slow ramp, and it's going to be something where limited amounts of production. And I think that that's where he's going to, and that's where I think he's going to perfect this thing. So I believe he's probably got production that he can. He did say, he said, "I have production I can make right now, but I don't like the scrap rate." Okay, when you get, and he also said, a prototype is a piece of cake, but scaled manufacturing is really tough. Okay, those are two key indicators as to what's going on. He already knows that he's made prototypes. What he wants to do now is make sure that he's got scaled production. That means that he's already working on scaled production. Again, Elon Musk is very good at telling people a little bit, but not enough. And that's kind of like where things are a problem for most people that were listening to him. I'll tell you two things about what I thought on Tesla Day. Number one, I thought that he was being reserved simply because of but Tesla doesn't do it that way, so he's under promising and over delivering, and that's kind of like what he wants to do. So I think that we should take that into account. He was being very cautious, very measured about what he was going to talk about and how far he was going to go. So everybody looks at him and says, "Oh, that guy, he never delivers on time." So he's going to try and speed it up, just like he did with the castings and whatnot. Second thing is, I think that he's probably already at some sort of a scale that's good enough to start trying it out in mules, like cars that won't be sold. They're just for testing the product. I think he's already got to that mule stage, and I believe that the little product development area that he's got, the little laboratory, I think they call it Cato Road or something like that. That thing is probably already going balls to the wall to try and push these batteries out already. I think they're there, but I don't think he wanted to tell anybody. He didn't want to have any controversy. So the stock went down. It'll go back up. To do something for 25 grand, I think he said he's going to get the car out in a year. So how long does it take a normal OEM in North America to get a car out? Everybody will tell you different rates, but there's a lot of things you have to do. There's clinics, there's styling, there's specs, and trying to project what's going to happen when you get it to market and whatnot. They like to call that either bubble up or phase zero, and they don't want to count that. But that is part of getting the job done. I think that Tesla does things differently. Look how fast they kicked out the Model Y from the Model 3. So I believe that it won't take them that long.
Now, humor me with something here, and bear with me for a second, because I am wondering, why can't we have the $25,000 Tesla now? Because, like, I'm thinking this. You can kick half of the batteries cells out of the pack and make it 200-mile range, which is more, that's fine for a smaller car. You make it hatchback. You don't have to worry about 2 extra doors. You kick out all the toys like, the autopilot and all of that stuff, and on top of that, you don't make 25% profit margin on an entry level car. You go down to 10, which is still pretty good, and boom, you have a $25,000 car. Where am I wrong?
This is a capitalist country, and making money is extremely important.
I've heard.
So I don't think I would do that. If I was in Elon's shoes, I would say, I'll make a car that I'm going to sell for $25,000, and I'm going to make a shitload of money on it. I am a capitalist as well. I mean, just go to the bank and say, hey, I can't make a payment this month. Let's be friends, and you just forget about it, and that doesn't happen.
Well, I don't mean lose money, but most manufacturers don't make that much money on their entry-level cars. Definitely not 25%.
Yeah, I know. Right, and that's why everybody's abandoning ship. How many entry-level cars does Ford have?
I don't know.
How about GM? Yeah, there's virtually none. Everybody's getting out of that business. They want to go to something where they can make money. Pickup trucks, SUVs, luxury vehicles. Ford does have some smaller vehicles that they peddle, but for the most part, they don't want to do it. GM doesn't want to do it. BMW doesn't want to. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody wants to get into something where they can make their shareholders happy, because at the end of the day, that's the reason for a company, to make money for shareholders, and that's kind of like what he's doing. And I think that's why his shareholders. I mean, they definitely made him happy. They gave him everything that he wanted and then some.
Okay, so let's forget about the smashing the profits down. But what if we really do that? Like, what if you would take out half of the batteries and make a shorter range to 200 miles? And obviously it's a smaller hatchback, so not as much door stuff, and take out of the autopilot stuff. Do you think he can make $25,000 car right now still with profits, maybe 30,000? Like, how much savings would that give him if he kicks out all of the toys and the long range and stuff?
All right, so right now, the only way that I know of how to make a $25,000 car is to go to a 3-wheel auto cycle. And that's kind of like what we're doing for a couple of people. Okay, so I have one for Nobe. I've talked about it. We're working with Archimoto. They're doing it in a different way. And then there's another one coming up called Bricklin. And those products will be able to be sold in and around that kind of a number. But I got rid of a wheel. I got rid of a motor. I got rid of a whole bunch of stuff. It's a 2-seater. I don't have to put in a whole bunch of safety stuff. I don't have to have. There's a lot of things that happen when you go to 3 wheels as opposed to 4. That's why I'm working on this. Plus, who's going to buy it? Like, I worked on the Nano for Tata in India. We came up with a car that was less than 1 lakh, so 1,000 rupees, or 2,000 rupees. And that was supposed to get people off motorcycles and into cars where they could be sheltered and stuff like that. And it turned out to be a giant flop. It was a giant flop because people didn't want it. They didn't want that. They wanted something that was going to be more glamorous, more luxurious. They didn't want a no-frills car. So I don't know who's trying to talk him into it, but I think he really should do a lot of work where it comes to customer clinics and things like that, because that's where That's where you find out who's going to buy it. And I don't know how many people are going to be wanting to buy that car if they can buy something that's probably a whole lot cheaper and a lot more fun. Like Archimoto, that's a fun car. Or a fun cycle. You can drive it almost anywhere. It's a great thing, and it's right now it's at 20 grand, but it'll drop in price after we get done ramping it, I'm sure. So that's kind of like where you want to be, but you got to make money at these things. It won't make your shareholders happy, and you'll turn into the normal OEMs if you don't make money at things.
All right. So if I want a cheaper car from Tesla, they're either gonna lose profits or I'm gonna lose a wheel. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It was just a bit of a fantasy that I had.
To do something for 25 grand, I think he said he's going to get the car out in a year.